don't think that locking Favor in the manor was abusive for the same reason that many people argue that locking Nesta in the
Okay, I had to step in here and I apologize for having to be a little quiet, but I would highly recommend you go and you watch this creator's video because she has been saying something that I have been discussing and thinking about since I read this book. Everyone who's a really big Tamlin hater, I don't really understand because if you look at what Reese does in the last book so far that has been released for Akatar, Reese kind of does the same thing to Feyre as Tamlin did. Side note, this might contain spoilers. You've had plenty of time to read these books, so don't come at me if something is spoiled. Reese literally puts a magic bubble around Feyre in the last book while she's pregnant. Why is he doing this? He's doing it because he's being protective, just like Tamlin did. I think my biggest issue with people when they read books, and honestly, just people in the world in general, because this happens a lot, not just towards characters in books, but I have an issue with the fact that people assume malintent from everybody around them. We're specifically going to be talking about the book now, but just think about the fact that if somebody accidentally cuts you off in traffic, a lot of the times people assume it's because they're being rude. When in all reality, they could have an emergency. They could literally just not be paying attention, which is stupid, but that doesn't mean they're trying to piss you off. Tamlin literally was going through a traumatic time, just like Feyre was trying to protect her the best that he could. I don't love Tamlin. I don't excuse his actions. I understand that a lot of women have experienced stuff similar to that I have, but I still have empathy for the fact that Tamlin thought what he was doing was what was best for him and Feyre. Tamlin was trying to keep her safe. Tamlin was scared of her dying again, of losing her. What would you have done if your spouse had died in front of you and then people brought her back to life? I think a lot of man hating goes on in the book talk community, and it really bothers me a lot because they're people too. Like, think about what they're going through. Think about how men have emotions as well. They're not always going to be perfect. And I think that's what's wrong with society. We just fully expect men to be perfect and not make any mistakes. And ooh, woe is me, a poor, helpless woman. And then at the same time, we want these characters to be badass and destroy everything in their path, but still be treated like a princess. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. People make mistakes. Women make mistakes. Men definitely make mistakes. There needs to be a little bit more forgiveness and grace. And I really wish people would dive more deeply into the male psyche of who Tamlin is because personally, I think he gets a really bad rap. And no, I don't think Feyre should be with him. I think what he did was not okay. But in all reality, we all need to take a step back and realize sure, perception is he did something toxic and abusive to Feyre, but intention also matters. And I don't for one second think that Tamlin's intention was to lock Feyre away and never let her see anything. I think his intention was to protect her. And unfortunately, it just came off as being toxic and controlling.